Hey gang, welcome back to Talk Lytical TV. It's your girl, Lytical J, and I'm back. Y'all already know from the thumbnail, we're doing a YNWMelly update. We're about to get into it, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up. That's how I'll know for sure you guys are liking the content.
Let me talk my shit for you, talk about it. Let me talk my shit for you.
Now, in my last video, check that out if you haven't already. I'll link it someplace in this video. We learned Jamie King, Melly's mom, is being investigated in her alleged role in some type of witness tampering in her son's case, which prompted Detective Moretti, if I remember his name correctly, this prompted this detective to obtain a search warrant to obtain Jamie's cell phone, which was successful as the detective was able to serve said search warrant and obtain the phone from Jamie's possession. Her attorneys filed a motion to return said cell phone. To date, I haven't seen any updates that indicates that happened. But you never know. By now, if she hasn't gotten a new cell phone yet, then that's on her. The day they yeeted my cell phone away from me was the day I was getting a burner phone, and shit, y'all can keep it. Anyway, sliding on, I see some movements in the appeal. It appears Melly's defense has submitted their rebuttal to the appeals court findings and ruling. Now, they're probably just going to put it back in review, and we'll just have to wait around and see. So soon enough for that. Now, okay, so I would say this is the major plot twist update that I have for you guys. So y'all remember Melly's little ex-girlfriend, Mariah? Well, if you guys didn't know, Mariah and her mom, Felicia Holmes, plays a very detrimental role for Melly and his defense in this case. It was said that those two individuals were contacted right after the alleged crime was committed, and I believe it was Mariah and her mom, Felicia, was the ones to pick Melly up, and I believe he sent them a pin drop on where they were to pick him up. Now, mom and daughter made a statement in the early phases of the case. Over time, it's been 5 years? So yeah, over time, they've played many games and have been dropped by two of their own attorneys, as it was blatantly obvious that they no longer wanted to cooperate and have anything to further do with the case. They wanted to invoke their rights to plead the fifth. Now, I guess that didn't work out too well once they were dropped by not one but two lawyers. So the second to last lawyer dropped them based on just not wanting to come around to cooperating. And I also think, from what I remember on one of my updates, that the previous judge in the case, never signed off on them actually just moonwalking from the case and pleading the fifth and not wanting to no longer testify. So that didn't happen. Okay, so on November 28th, Mariah's mom, Felicia Holmes, was, okay, let's go ahead and read the motion. So let's pull that up. All right, so we're gonna start where it kind of gives you guys that at number 2, where the state has listed Miss Holmes as a purported witness. During February or March of 2022, the state of Florida filed an application for and obtained a material witness warrant against Miss Holmes due to an alleged unwillingness to make herself available to provide testimony in the above case. Miss Holmes was detained on the court-issued material warrant while on vacation in the St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. On Monday, November 28, 2002, Ms. Holmes was extradited from St. Thomas by the Broward Sheriff's Office and remanded to the Broward County Jail. The undersigned attorney has met with and spoken to the undersigned assistant state attorney to arrange for Ms. Holmes to provide a deposition to the defendant in this case. The undersigned likewise spoke with counsel for the defendant, David Howard, who advised that the earliest Ms. Holmes can be deposed because of his unavailability is Wednesday, December 14th. Ms. Holmes remains detained without bail and desires to provide her truthful testimony forthwith. However, due to the defense's lack of availability or unwillingness to make themselves available within the next 7 days, Ms. Holmes remains in the Broward County Jail. Ms. Holmes and the state of Florida are available next week, either December 6th or 8th, for a deposition to be taken of Ms. Holmes. The prolonged detention of Ms. Holmes due to the defendant's unwillingness to take the deposition of Ms. Holmes the week of December 5th, I guess they meant 2022, is unreasonable and unfair. Ms. Holmes, 46 years old, has no criminal history and at the time of her detention was gainfully employed as a travel nurse. Ms. Holmes has agreed to honor all subpoenas and to provide truthful testimony when called upon. Ms. Holmes is willing to surrender her passport and would agree to participate in the BSO pretrial release program or any comparable program to ensure her presence when called upon. Ms. Holmes is willing to accept any reasonable pretrial and trial conditions which would ensure her presence when called upon, including reasonable bond. So, wherefore the witness, Ms. Holmes, respectfully requests the Honorable Court to enter an order granting the following relief. The deposition of Ms. Holmes be scheduled the week of December 5th, 2022, the surrender of her passport, the BSO pretrial release program, or any comparable program to ensure her presence when called. Impose any reasonable pretrial and trial conditions which would ensure her presence when called upon. Grant any further relief deemed reasonable, just, and proper. All right. So interesting. So now I'm wondering if Felicia is the said witness Melly's mother is tampering with. Remember in a few updates back, I also told you guys someone contacted the previous judge on the case, Andrew Siegel, on LinkedIn, saying they had secret files to submit in the case. This whole thing is like spooky, from the crime, how it happened, and all the theatrics playing out in between. It's wild. Yeah, but Andrew Siegel is no longer the judge ruling on this case. It's now Judge John Murphy III. So, okay, Felicia is apprehended, and it clearly states she was extradited back and is currently being held at the Broward County Jail with no bond. Funny thing is, Felicia doesn't come up in the system at all. Why isn't her booking record coming up if she's in fact in custody and you have now Felicia's new attorney, per the motion we just reviewed, pleading with the judge to expedite a bond hearing because the state attorneys are not making themselves available fast enough to now take her depositions, in which his client Felicia Holmes is now readily available after all her tactics pulled to not cooperate and now willing to fully cooperate? Checkmate, Felicia. The prosecutors are gonna make that ass slow cook a little. Yeah, they're gonna let your ass slow cook a little in there before they do that with all the games you and your daughter Mariah done played, child. And like clockwork, I don't know, but the timing is very obvious. So Melly, or his account, his IG account, posted a lengthy one. All right, let's see. Let's see what it says. All right, so it says, in the picture taken over a year ago, I am smiling, but as I speak to you from my cell at this very moment, I am weeping in the present. I have been mute for years about the mistreatment, discrimination, and misuse of authority, mentally and emotionally abuse. I have been suffering in fear. BSO staff, Captain Archibald, Captain Hubert, XO Jean Baptiste, and XO Jenkins are just a few names of high-ranked staff that have enforced this treatment. On April 8th, I was told I was not allowed to use the phone indefinitely, which means forever. Captain Archibald revoked my calls for using another inmate PIN to talk on the phone. Usually when someone gets disciplined for this, it is usually phone restricted for 30 days. It is now going for 8 months. No other inmate in this jail is being treated this way. I haven't spoke to family, friends, managers, and accountants for months at a time, making it impossible to pay my bills and take care of my household, livelihood, or even talk to anyone for relaxation, for pleasure, and stress relief. And worse, to handle lawyer fees. BSO is aware of this. I am being hidden from the world. Not hearing my family's voices has mentally and emotionally tortured me into deep depression. This is entrapment. I was never given a fair warning that talking on another inmate's PIN was wrong. The holidays are approaching, not to mention my mother's birthday is on Christmas Day. Not only is this torture to me, it's torturing them. I am innocent until proven guilty, and I have all rights to talk to my family. Whoever took my privileges have a personal vendetta towards me. This is true mistreatment and discrimination, plus pain and suffering, and I cannot do my time like this awaiting trial, being secluded because of my celebrity status and my social media following. Sheriff at BSO Sheriff, please get on top of this situation. Somebody please help me. And he, attempts to add Say Cheese, Meek Mill, No Jumper, DJ Academics, Kim Kardashian, 300 Entertainment, and Joe Biden. All right, so he says, or whomever posted it for him, because if you can't be on the phones and have been stripped of your privileges, then duh, it has to be someone else posting for him. Everything he's saying I've already covered in previous updates, mainly about him using, another inmate's PIN, and now saying he was unaware that was against the rule. Boy, cut the shit, please. You've been in there long enough. You know the ropes. You also know they have it out for that ass. So now YNWMelly is cornered like a rat in a corner. Yeah, it's probably how both of his friends felt that day in their car, allegedly. Anyways, this is going to be the biggest trial of 2023, word. All right, Lit Gang, that's all I got for now. Of course, I will be updating you guys with any more updates that are to come. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Lit Gang, I'll catch y'all in the next one.
Let me talk my shit before you talk about it. Let me talk my shit before you talk.